Welcome to Deus Ex beta content. For this first video, I'll cover the following topics: early game proposals, scrapped levels, and a couple of concept arts and renders which I find interesting. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Warren Spector's first proposal was a game named Troubleshooter. In it, you were to play as an ex-cop turned security specialist, doing the dirty jobs that even the police or the government couldn't tackle, such as bomb threats, hijackers on a plane, or hostage situations. It was to be a mission-oriented action simulation with no huge plot, just missions you could jump in and out of. This concept reminds me a lot of games such as SWAT 4, if you ask me. This concept was later reworked by 1997 and renamed Shooter Majestic Revelations. It was a role-playing game set in the near future where you were supposed to uncover secrets and age-old conspiracies, fighting to stop their plans for world dominations. At the bottom of all these schemes was a mysterious and soulless machine, whose goal was to end war, poverty and hunger through any means necessary, even if the cost was terrible. The game was described as being in a world very much similar to our own, combining the style of a Bruce Willis or Arnold Schwarzenegger type of action movie with the over-the-top luxurious flavor of James Bond stories. Of course, all blended with a good amount of conspiratorial tone from the X-Files. This concept is very much closer to what Deus Ex ended up being. There is at least 4 known sets of levels that have been scrapped or repurposed in some way. There was a White House level, a moon base, a space station cut for being too similar to System Shock, and at least one mention of a pirate island. We will concentrate on the first 2. So, in the White House level, JC was supposed to rescue the daughter of President Meade from an Illuminati-controlled clone of her father. The White House actually was the first level ever designed for the game, but it got cut due to performance issues and the level design in general being not that interesting, being just a lot of room. Although, rumor has it that Warren Spector was actually visited by the Secret Service due to the accuracy of the level, which led to its removal. Remaining traces of the level are the President, the First Lady, and their daughter being present during the intro cutscene, and a couple textures, including some foreplay. The moon level was to be set on a mining base where we would see a fight between a Chinese and a United Nations base. We can still see mentions of these events in various news articles during the game. It will also have been the location of the second Universal Constructor. In the end, the level was cut due to the gameplay and setting being too different from the rest of the game. Now, the following is pure speculation that I discovered while watching some MKLess videos, so credits where it's due. According to him, part of the moon level was reused for the second part of the Ocean Lab level, and there's some evidence pointing towards it. First, due to various engine limitations, MKLess speculated that the base would have been set in a crater, and in fact we can see that the outside of the Ocean Lab, shown on screen, does indeed look like a crater, even reusing some moon texture for the ocean floor. Second, the lab houses the second UC, just like what was planned for the moon base. Third, and this one is from me, we can see mining equipment scattered near the end of the level, matching with the mining base concept. And fourth, the previous mission was set in Vandenberg. Its real-life counterpart is a military space launching site. It's not hard to imagine that the rocket silo level being actually planned for the shuttle JC would use to go on the moon. We can even see a cockpit in some of the E3 footage. Believe what you will, but I think there's some serious evidence right there, and it's definitely a possibility that the ocean base is actually the long-lost moon level. The last topic that I'm going to talk about today is about some concept arts and renders that I found interesting but don't really warrant a video of their own. First, we have a render of an early Arsenal. We can see that the player hands were supposed to be bare instead of seeing JC's coat. There is also some raised fists, which I assumed was ultimately replaced by the stun baton. There is these two unknown weapons that, if I were to guess, would be the scrapped spear gun that we can see on some artwork, and an early version of the plasma rifle. This design reminds me a lot of Doom's version of the weapon. There is also a green suppressed sniper rifle that was probably scrapped once they added the optional suppressor on the pre-existing one. Then there's these two weapons that I've never seen before, an MP5K and what looks like to be some sort of pen. In my opinion, they look like weapons that could have been used by the Men in Black. Finally, we can notice some slight changes, like the flamethrower canister being red, and the swords looking a bit different, but nothing too fancy. Next is a series of render and concept arts for JC. He went through a couple of iterations before finally getting the trench coat we all know and love. There is this drawing of him in a suit and missing the sunglasses, which reminds me a lot of the James Bond vibe Spector wanted for Shooter Majestic Revelations. Then we have this drawing that even got prototyped into a 3D model. His facial structure, combined with the sunglasses, does make him look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator. And finally, it is no secret that the developer wanted to let the player choose their preferred gender for the player character. That's half the reason why they named him JC, because it was a nice unisex name. The other half is, of course, because JC stands for Jesus Christ, and was supposed to be a descendant of his namesake. And that's all I have for today, folks. I'm quite new to this format, so I'm looking forward to your criticism and opinions in the comment section. Thanks for watching.